Don't blink, it's your Blink. Welcome to our show. Guys, doing well because I'm having a wonderful day on this 19 May 2025. Today we're talking about a video for the gaming channel. As you know, we're doing some gaming videos. You're gonna see me working on the computer. So what we're doing is we have clips on YouTube. I need to post them. I need to put a name on them. So it's a lot of work, but it's more tedious than hard. It's a lot of work. However, we're talking about this is the subject that I talked about before, but I have an opinion, and you're seeing slowly but surely going over, and I don't know. Um, what you call it? What you call it? It's yeah. It's so tough. It's so tough because on one side you know it's gonna happen, and you have your opinion, and the more it happened, it doesn't mean that your opinion changed. My opinion haven't changed. Technically, this is gonna be so similar to the video we did in the past, but at the same time, it's becoming more and more of a reality. It's becoming closer and closer and closer. Um, if I have to give an example, we're talking about job in the workshop that are being replaced by a robot. We know it's gonna happen. We just don't know when, but it's going on sooner than we expected. So, long story short, we're talking about mobile gaming. So, in my opinion, and it's funny because I've been doing a lot of videos about mobile gaming, about AFK, about different kind of game, and with mobile gaming, it is insane because we're getting it's so interesting but so complex at the same time. We're getting so many video games released at the same time, and with mobile gaming, of course, there's less coding, they're less complicated. You'll never get a mobile game that is as big as like Elden Ring and shit like that, right? But there's still the limitation are constantly being pushed. We know that every single year there's a new phone, is stronger, and we also know, and that's the crazy part. We also know that making a video game can take more than 1 year. So imagine, this is how much of a nerd we were. We're taking to a girl, she is a nerd too, so kind of flex here. I was watching a documentary on Ratchet and Clank, right? And Ratchet and Clank, and people were saying how did they do to make such evolve game for the PS2? Well, they put code everywhere. So, and the lease agreements and the lease agreements and the credit, they put some code in there so for the game to work, which is insane. Nobody will ever do that again, and they were able to do something that was crazy good. And with gaming on mobile is like that. You're saying game. Like for example, Genshin Impact. The reason why Genshin Impact was so popular was because it was so ahead of its time when it came to mobile gaming. It's insane. It's insane when you realize and you even start to think about, dude, this is insane. That is completely nuts. You're seeing the games and you're seeing them come out, and now I was talking about Genshin Impact right, and how good it was. Well, now it's constantly games that you want to play on mobile, and you want to play, and it's becoming better and better and better. Then the mobile gaming will take over like really really soon, um, because like I said in the previous video, it's always about you having the phone on yourself. Everybody has a phone, not everybody has a console, but now it's becoming everybody has time to game on their phone. Not everybody has time to game on a console. Imagine you're on in the bus. You cannot game on your console, but you can game on your mobile. Imagine you're on break. You can't game on your console, but you can game on your mobile. So the games are becoming more and more. And of course there's a greed there because it's a new market, people are throwing themselves at it. But it's straight up amazing. And it's kind of the Wild West because I was playing a game last 2 months ago that was called Enigma of Sepia. Now Enigma of Sepia doesn't exist anymore because it was taking from other game. I'm playing this other game which is called oops, I made a mistake. Give me a sec. I made a mistake. See, Enigma Sepia was like that. We had this other game that was All Star Warrior, which was again with anime characters. It was taken away. We were talking about a game called Final Fantasy Z, right? And Final Fantasy Z was one of the first games that did that. And what they did was they made it on purpose to have intellectual property of other companies. Like for example, they have Harry Potter, they have Troll. You know, and it's risky legally speaking, but all you have to do is take the money, go away, and say, "Hey, I'm broke. I can't reimburse you." So these people actively make game, even though they know that it will only last 2 or 3 years, right? And because they know that they'll make more money in 2 or 3 years than it takes them to make the game, there's still a profit. If your profit is your cost is the amount of cash that people pay versus your cost minus your cost that's equal profit. They're still able to have a great profit, and this it makes you realize just how profitable mobile gaming is. And the more profitable it is, the more companies are going to get involved in there. I mentioned this before, and I'm going to repeat myself. Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact was a game out of 100 out of 1,000 because of its quality. But now you can easily see other games that are following the trend. You're seeing Honkai Star Rail. You're seeing Wuthering Wave. Right now, and what is actually insane is the whole gaming world is looking at this. It's a collaboration. I'm playing this game called Soul Striker. They have a collaboration with Fullmetal Alchemists. Fullmetal Alchemist is not only a great piece of media, but they're also never doing collabs. And to me, this is kind of scary because I'm like, dude, this is a lot of power for mobile gaming, right? And also, my problem with mobile gaming is there's less regulation. It's a bit more predatory, right? Anybody, like when it comes to mobile game, to console gaming, right now we're playing Elden Ring. Now, if you didn't know, Elden Ring is a game from software. So if Elden Ring was having, I'm out of shape. If Elden Ring was having some rules or some action that were considered to be predatory, everybody would be like, "Oh, fuck From Software," right? But these mobile company, they almost don't exist. And I know this is crazy. Of course they exist. Of course they're real, but it's not as, again, simply you being able to say, well, I made this game, I'm in and out, I made my money, I don't need more money, is simply crazy. You see, we're offline, and that's why it stopped. It is ballistic. It is out of this realm of understanding, out of the realm of this makes sense or this doesn't make sense. I would have never thought about somebody doing something as a quick cash and grab for mobile gaming, for gaming as in general. Cash and grab. So we kind of saw this. But in a different way. We kind of saw this in a way of you promise something. You promise something, and the way it works is actually quite smart. The way it works is really, oh, and it is the journey so far. I love it. So yeah, so it's you would get false advertisements. So you say this game has amazing graphic, and when it comes out it's choppy, it doesn't look good. Now with mobile gaming, all you need to do, and it's actually quite smart. So what you do is you take intellectual property. So you take games like Soul Leveling, you take games like Naruto, you take games like One Piece. Now these games they don't really have. So Naruto, except for Ninja Storm, they don't really have a great app. One Piece, they don't have a great application. What they do, they'll just do that. They'll just use those property, right? And then they'll come up with it. They'll come and they'll use that. And in the same way, there's 3 very specific things that you can do. You don't want to play the game because the game is shitty. We're giving you the character that you love, and we're giving you a good game. You don't want to pay characters. So, for example, a game like Diablo, right, who have a skin for Berserk, and the skin is 160. I could do a game that is similar to Diablo that costs way less to produce. I would put the game at I would put the skin at $9, right? And then Blizzard would actively go against me financially. So what I would do, I think all the money that I would do is launder it or even spend it, or I don't know. Laundering is pretty much the best way to do it. Then I would say, oh, I'm out of money, I'm sorry. I would bankrupt, create another company, and then say, hey, I'm a different company, I'm not making this game. It's amazing. Currently speaking, right now we're playing a game called Final Fantasy. Now, Final Fantasy is actually quite special. It's really, really, really special. Because, like I said, what they did was and this is the first time I saw that, and I think it's the first time people saw that. So they did this game, and they knew from the get-go that they would have legal problems. So they did a game, and they never mentioned that this game was going to go out of service. So we had this game for 3 years, and then they said, unfortunately, we're not making enough money. We prefer closing the server because it's costing too much in an upkeep. But now I have this game downloaded, and it's another company. So they bought the right for Final Fantasy. They bought the rights. Now, technically speaking, that is not true. So it could have been the same company. It could have been Nanu, which is the person that created the game. And now, what they did, which is fucking phenomenal. Fucking phenomenal. And I'm telling you, there's no way that you don't think that this is incredible. You can't watch ad on the game. You can't connect to the server on the game because the server doesn't exist anymore. However, you can buy some skin. You can buy some skin and they'll cash the money out. And this is incredible. This is incredible. Just thinking about it, it makes your blood boil because there's no legal aspect to it, right? You're thinking about Sujiro making a game, like Sony making a game. Who's gonna go against Sony? I'm talking about Nathan Drake. Who's gonna go against Naughty Dog? It's insane. It's insane to think that a big studio would do it, but a small studio, there's no risk. So there's a very predatory. And again, I'm going to repeat myself, but predatory equal money. And a lot of companies, they're saying there's a lot of like gaming on mobile. We're already seeing it. We're already seeing this as, again, there's so many great games that are coming out on mobile. I'm going to be completely honest. So, whenever I have like a depression, or whenever I have a amount of week or amount of months that I don't want to stream, what I'll do, I'll do some mobile gaming because I don't have to do some clips, and it's easier for me, right? And it happened a couple of times. I went to depression, I was playing the tower. I went to another depression, I was playing the tower. I went to a third depression, I was playing mobile game, X, Y, and Z, and it doesn't matter which one. Like, for example, when I was 22, I had a depression. I was playing Final Fantasy. And for the first time ever, which is completely insane to say, I'm able to say I have enough mobile game of quality to only focus on mobile gaming. And even as a content creator, mobile gaming is such almost a miracle because, for example, I make content and I want people to watch the video, right? So what would be a easy way for you guys to get you guys to watch the video? Well, I would take a video game that is very accessible. So I'll take a mobile game. Now, technically speaking, the problem that we have is Xbox versus PlayStation. It's been a generational now problem. There's people that prefer Xbox, so they don't care about the PlayStation game. And there's people that play PlayStation that don't care about the Xbox game, right? Mobile game, everybody has a mobile. And most companies, they'll do like a game exclusively for Android, and exclusively for Android, and exclusively for iPhone. Both of them works really well, and both of them are in a case of, well, there's enough user to make money. There's still enough user. And then what they'll do, which is even better, they'll do cross-platform. So this would be the perfect game. So I'm able to play on my phone, I'm able to play on the PS4, I'm able to play on the computer. I always have an excuse to play, right? So they do a lot of content, but they also get a lot of money. The game gets bigger. So mobile gaming is actually kind of scary because of how fast it's evolving, and I think it's always been evolving, but I think people are noticing now because of the quality of the game. It is super easy, and I just want you guys to think, okay? And we're gonna go far. I don't like my hair today. If I'm playing with it a lot. Since Amazon, and I'm not pointing fingers at Amazon, but I'm just saying, since Amazon exists, how much more have you bought? Because all you have to do is like go on Google, look at that product, oh, it's on Amazon, let's buy it. You're playing video games, and usually you'll do microtransaction, but then you won't, because you're at work, you won't do microtransaction, right? So what you'll do, which is as crazy, is you'll go and have this itch to buy something. And then you're at work and you're like, okay, no problem. But if you had access to your phone, all you have to do is click, click, click. There's moments when I bought something in a game, I had instant regrets. I never had this on Fortnite. I had never had this on XYZ. I had this on mobile gaming, right? So it's very dangerous. And I'm telling you right now, from in 5 to 10 years, you're seeing already. You're seeing always. You're seeing already the Huawei. It's embarrassing, but the Huawei 3 Fold that just came out, I better spec than my laptop. Better spec than this, right? Now, there's game that would be able to run on this. I'm talking about Marvel Rival. I'm talking about Warcraft 3. They would work so well on the Trifold. So they're powerful enough to run games. See, I thought about this before. Mobile gaming, in my opinion, in 2012, was so great because all you had to do was download an emulator and play games that already existed, that had little to no requirements when it comes to the CPU and shit like that, right? Now, the craziest thing is there's game I'm playing on a computer that I'm not able to play on this tablet. Now, this tablet is 2021. So yes, it's old, but at the same time, it's not that old. Which, it is a tablet, it's not a phone. So, it's going fast, it's going really, really, really fast. And, it's tough. It's tough. It's really tough. Because, and I think as a content creator, it's tougher because you want to cover a lot of things. So, for example, right? I was hearing about Path of Exile 2. So I went in to check it out at the price because it looks like a really cool game. I thought Path of Exile 1 was free, so I said, okay, let's download it. And I've been playing. It's an amazing game, and it's really, really good. So, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with mobile games. And I delete them. I re-download them. Diablo Immortals, we deleted it and replayed it for 4 times because it's such a good game and it's so addictive. At the same time, you're seeing the way they're doing it and like, oh, that's spiritory. Yeah. With mobile gaming, you're gonna see. All of this to say, mobile gaming will take the lead very soon. I'm telling you. And it's nuts because there's also timing in there. So, for example, when you look at TikTok, why did TikTok blow up? Because TikTok was the right thing at the right time. But there's more than that. So during the PS5, when it came out, there was so many problems. It was too expensive. There was not a lot of it. So those people that were playing PlayStation were keeping the PlayStation 4. Some of them, they didn't have PlayStation 4 anymore because they sold it to buy the PS5. So those people turned to mobile gaming because they weren't going to buy a PS4 again. They turned to mobile gaming and maybe they're happier. And to me, that's insane. That is insane. Just like a game like we're playing right now, Arknight. Arknight is 7 years old. A game that is 7 years old. Now, just to put you in the space, Fortnite is 9 years old. I think. I'm not sure. So just there, that is crazy. And Fortnite has took such a place in the culture. At the same time, Arknight made enough money to be after 7 years and still be like, yo, we're profitable, let's continue, right? And to me, that's insane. To me, that's beautiful. I feel like I'm complaining, but there's actually quite a lot of advantages for the mobile game. I think at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter where you play. It doesn't really matter how you play. It doesn't really matter how you play. I think customer satisfaction is achievable on every single platform at every single time, every single place, right? As long as the customer is happy, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? But then I'm seeing people. I'm seeing people promote a lot of games that are gambling games, and when you look at those games, they're where they're on the phone because it's like regulation. So that's why I have a little bit more of a problem. But that's the far west. There's gonna be more rule and regulation for the phone mobile game, then the games are gonna be less fun. I don't know. It's tougher. It's tougher. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited.